So hi guys, welcome to the next Developer Roundtable. I'm really happy to see the attendance numbers growing, especially in the summertime. So good to have you here. So regarding communication, just repeating, so let's keep everybody microphone muted, and the meeting is being recorded. So we can switch, we can do interactive Q&A sessions, not a problem, but just so that we don't have any background noise in the meanwhile. So agenda for this roundtable is more or less geared around Tier 0 projects in general. Then we will have a Tier 0 presentation of another Tier 0 project, which is an extension of ARK Deployer. Then we'll ask for more feedback from your side, so your Tier 0 ideas, Tier 0 feedback, and we'll also give you a short teaser and introduction into the series of the next workshops that will be done targeting education of new developers with ARK. So for Tier 0 projects, you know that we recently we are increasing our efforts. We have more developer-focused outreach programs, and Tier 0 custom projects are part of these developer-focused outreach programs, basically with the common goal to continue to grow and nurture our community, and of course to improve collaboration and use the knowledge and the technology of you guys, you the experts that are in our community, and so that we can build the ecosystem together, build new plugins, add new functionalities to the existing system. So we believe that this is the only way to efficiently grow the community, grow the functionality, add new features to the ecosystem, because essentially the more projects, more plugins, more features we add, the better will be. And Tier 0 is basically part of the outreach programs which we actually started. So we are already running AMAs, so Ask Me Anything, where you can talk with our project leads. Then we have roundtables. So roundtable we are discussing every Thursday and Thursday in the month. And the next thing that is coming are also workshops. So the Tier 0 projects are basically targeted at addressing, building new parts of the features that we would like to build together with you. These projects will be defined by us or together if you have a good idea. And of course, we are also we're doing everything in a transparent and open way. So if you look at our website, if you go under developers and custom projects, you can see all the Tier 0 projects which are basically available, and also all the Tier 0 projects which are active or in development. And we already had a presentation from Mark, who is working on ARK Developer. And next project in line of the Tier 0 projects is easy one-click deployment with ARK Deployer, which is basically developed by Munich. And as I said before, everything is transparent, so you can see the project details, when it was started, what's the expected completion date. And if you look at read more, you will really get a more detailed overview of the overall completion, a short, let's say a short description of the project, which tasks are being done. If you click on the, let's say, of a feature set, you see a list of subtasks. So each subtask has some short details, and you can also see which ones are partially done. So this should give you a quite good overview. So this is not targeted, this is a complete, let's say, project management tool, but to open it up so that every project, every task can be seen, who is working on what's the progress. And in the back end, let's say the contractor who is working on the Tier 0 project is actively working with the project lead, who actually detail the specification. So for each Tier 0 project, you will receive detailed specification and expectation from our side, or we will define them actually together, of course, if you have a good idea. So when we come to an agreement, we define the whole project scope, the expectations, and then it's all about selecting the right team and execution. And I said in the agenda, so more experience, or let's say more will be answered by Munich delegate ARKLand, who is working on easy one-click deployment with ARK Deployer. So he will tell you more about what he's working on, what he's building. So we are really enthusiastic. It's really an awesome project, adding new features, new nice to have to expanding our existing product landscape. In this case, adding new features to ARK Deployer, which will make it even easier to deploy a chain, automate deployment. And so Munich, I'll just give it to you because you know the details. You will actually present it. So let me give you the slides. Are you still here? Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. You're a presenter.
Okay, let me just share my screen here. Perfect. All right, thank you. So we're working on the one-click deployer, one-click extension for deployer, which is a user-friendly app for deploying chains and nodes. You can deploy chains on multiple server providers, and it will feature one-click deployment. That means that you'll be able to connect your GitHub account and your server provider account, and it will do everything for you. So ARK and I, we wanted to have something simple but functional. So we came up with this layout here that I'll show you guys. So it is a very cloud panel-like layout. So, you know, most users are already used to this kind of layout on DigitalOcean or Vultr. So you'll have a collection of bridge chains, and each bridge chain will have a collection of, networks, mainnet, devnet, and testnet. In each network, we have a collection of servers that we have deployed with this app. And it is just a reference mockup, so just so we have an idea of what to expect. So what is currently implemented? So it is integrated with GitHub, so it will create new repos for your chain and it will push changes to it automatically. It's also integrated with DigitalOcean, so it will use this cloud provider to deploy your nodes, but later on we'll also integrate it with other server providers. And you can manage multiple chains and you can deploy them quickly. And what's coming next is, so ARK's amazing lead designer is working on the front-end design for this app, and we're looking into adding support for more server providers like Google Cloud, Hetzner, Vultr, AWS, and Linode. And we'll be adding the possibility of deploying extra nodes to a network. So first you bootstrap your chain with one node, and then you add more relay nodes to it. And at this moment, deployer.ark.io and deployer one-click, they are two different apps. We'll be connecting them together to provide a more seamless experience. And finally, we want to support more source control providers. So if you don't want to use GitHub, you can also use GitLab or Bitbucket if you want.
Well, perfect.
And so I'll show you guys a little bit of the application. So the design that Alex is working on is not implemented yet. So, you know, it's not pretty, but it's a functional demo. So you guys can see here that I already have some networks here that I have created. And, you know, the typical stuff, the explorer for this network. But we're gonna create a new chain.
Okay. And
I'll name it one-click. And the config.json file, I have already generated one here on the deployer.ark.io. And we're gonna upload it to the backend app. And I will create this chain. So after we create it, we're gonna deploy your first network, and that can be mainnet, devnet, or testnet, and I can pick a location to deploy it and the size of the VM. So once I click this button here, a few things will happen. So first off, I'll go here to DigitalOcean, and we can see that no VM is being deployed. I'll give you a few moments. If we come here to GitHub, we can see that new repo has been created, and after, as the installation goes on, it will push all the changes to this repo here. So I'll go on my email. This process takes about 10 minutes, but I'll go on my email and get the root password so we can see what's going on under the hood. I'll bring my terminal here. Let me copy the password. All right, and I'll change the full password. And if I run this command here, I can see what's going on. So now Ubuntu is just updating all the packages, and I will make you guys wait until this whole process goes on. I've deployed another chain earlier, and we'll fast forward through the log here.
Yeah, awesome.
Just so you guys can see what's going on. And here it was when it was pushing the changes to the repo.
Okay,
and then
now we have a new repo.
Yeah, you deploy everything to the repo, and then it's installing. It generated the config files. And here we have the Explorer and the public API. And right after it finished, it's already running. So we can see here it took about 486 seconds. That's about 8 minutes from start to finish. So on DigitalOcean, it takes a little bit longer because the packages are not updated yet. But on Hetzner, it takes about 4 to 5 minutes. But that's about it. I'm really happy to be working on this Tier 0 project. And it's been really fun, and we'll be working on the front end now. And do you guys have any questions? I'll change the presenter here. Do you guys have any questions or any thoughts?
Okay, I mean, it's really awesome. I mean, just I saw it already, but every time I see it, I get really excited because it makes deployment so much easier just by adding automation deployment to DigitalOcean and new cloud providers coming in, doing everything on GitHub for the development team. So it's like the way you fast forwarded the video you had for the deployment is I get the same thing in my head, like it's the same way fast forwarding the development experience for a team wanting to start to build something from scratch, to do a new project without the hassle of all the environment set up and just kicking it off,
Yeah.
I'm really amazed. Yeah, I love it.
It's really cool. And especially with the deployer.ark.io, later on, everything will be integrated. So users won't really have to download the config.json file and upload it. It will be everything seamless. But I have a question here from Rock. Our wallets plugin is integrated with the one-click anyway. So their wallet already supports custom networks. So as soon as you deploy your new chain, you can already just load the seed node and the configuration on the wallet, and it will work straight away.
Yeah.
I think you just answered my question, but I was wondering where you have to upload that config file. Any chance it'll be integrated so that the configurator panel will be built directly into the one-click deployer?
Yeah, so at this moment, the current deploy.ark.io, it is a project that has been launched a few months ago, and it's not integrated with this one-click app yet. But we'll have a call to action button here that users can either generate their configuration file and do it the current way, or they can already connect to their cloud accounts, the server provider accounts and the GitHub account, and it will take the user to this new application, and it will already send out the configurations to this new application. So in the future, users they won't need to download this config app, config file and upload it.
That sounds good. Another thing that might be convenient if we had it is if you could just select your server spec, and then it gives you a list of the locations, and you click radio buttons next to them to select all the locations in one shot.
You mean selecting servers that you already have running?
No, I take it, does this set up new servers for you? Or do you already set up the servers and then it deploys to them? So it looks like you're actually setting up your servers for you too, isn't it?
Yeah, it will do that as well. Instead, for now, it is only bootstrapping the network, but you'll be able to add new servers to an existing network. And you can add 10 servers at once and multiple locations, and it will deploy all the 10 servers for you.
Oh, great. Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, so you can deploy an entire network using this app.
Excellent. Yeah,
all right.
Well,
thank you, guys, for watching. Chris, if there are no more questions, I'll hand it back to you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Munich, for your awesome work and for pushing the deploy forward. So, any other questions from you guys regarding the deployer, or maybe any other feedback regarding Tier 0 in general? Okay. We'll be sharing more information about Tier 0 projects, about upcoming Tier 0 projects in the upcoming days, so stay tuned to our social channels, to our blog post. But in the end, as we said, so these are custom projects to address, to work with you guys, with the experts from the community, and are also targeted to add new features to our existing products, or maybe add new features to our core products, like some core plugins. Ideally, they will be specified by us or together with you, meaning you'll have a detailed project specification, project milestones, tasks, and expectations, and then you can just kick it off. Yeah, so the last topic of this summer ARK Roundtable are ARK workshops. So I would just like to do a short introduction to the workshops that are coming in the future. You will have also ability to become a certified architect. So I hope you all heard this right. So ARK architect, I really love the term. But the same way as EMA, Roundtable, Tier 0 projects, workshops are also part of our focused outreach programs. And the title of the first initial workshop will be Build a Blockchain and Your Very Own Cryptocurrency for Scratch. So we want to show the power of ARK logic, to show the power of our custom transaction types, the power of plugins, how easy it is to develop a whole business application, not just a blockchain application from code line 0, meaning we will take you through the steps of how to set up a developer environment, to how to set up testing, how to set up your node, how to do your custom transaction types, and also we'll prepare some custom mock-ups of the front-end interface that you could use. So essentially, we will get our hands dirty, and we will build some kind of a mini product on top of the ARK chain. What are we going to build? will we develop a distributed application called Park Anywhere. Some of you already saw the project being done by students from the local university here in University of Maribor. They did an initial mock-up based on the idea we defined together, but they didn't have enough time, and also ARK Deployer wasn't yet launched at the time they started, and there were no custom transactions. So now we have the power and the time to redo everything from scratch, meaning that we want to build a really distributed and scalable decentralized application with its own business logic, meaning that let's say if you're talking about functionality of giving users ability to park and pay with tokens, but also giving the car park owners ability to manage their car parks. So this will be done, this functionalities we built for the 7 series workshops. We'll have 7 different sessions. And each session will have a blog post, tutorial blog post. We'll have a dedicated website where our tutorials will be listed. And of course, we will share a source code repository to where we came with each workshop. So if you couldn't make it, there will also be recordings available for you. And as already mentioned, we'll be using GoToWebinars, and you will have to pre-register. So you will have your own GoToWebinar username and password, because we will share more information with you. You will also get referrals for cloud providers, for example, for DigitalOcean, where you will be able to use the referral code and start your own chain. So because you will have to work on it. Any feedback on this topic, maybe? Tantran. Okay. Well, that was a quick roundtable. If there are no any additional questions, let me see if I have anything else. Yeah, the last slide, so the beautiful ARK logo. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe it's good that I give a small update of what I'm doing.
Sure.
Right, so everybody's on the same page. This month, I've been working on an on-blockchain API to interact with the ARK Tipper, meaning that you can send transactions on the ARK blockchain that ARK Tipper is going to pick up and execute. So people can register their own platform. Say you have a website or you have an app or whatever, you can register it and then send on-chain transactions to the ARK Tipper account, and it will execute them. Sends, deposits, withdrawal, balance. At this moment, I'm pausing the project because there has to be applied a PR on the core to make the webhooks fire me the correct data. There's an issue in that. Right. So in the meantime, I've started on the extension for Chrome for ARK Wallet, like a MyAether wallet or a Badger clone. And I'm investigating now exactly how, what, and when, and designing. And then I think that's a pretty useful one for many people.
Okay. Do you have any slides? Do you want me to give you the presenter?
No, I have no slides. I have nothing presentable. I'm old. I design on paper.
Well, console works for all of us. I guess most of us are developers, more or less. But awesome. Thanks for your update, Mark. It's really nice to see our tipper rolling on Twitter and Reddit, and especially supporting our marketplace, adding bridge chain support and additional functionalities. So being very dynamic from the start. Did you have any issues with the TypeScript migration you were working on and the API?
No, there's no real obstacles in that sense. It's like the common. I used to work with a lot of prototyping, right? I build something, I check how it goes, and then I improve on it, and then I release it. And that way, it's easy to come around anything that is coming in the way, right?
Yeah, of course. I agree.
What we can improve on the Tier 0 in general is maybe create a better feedback loop between us. Right? So
I agree.
more standardized ways to keep each other up to date. But that's just like the beginning, the small little things in the beginning.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, regarding communication, we have a open dedicated channel where we communicate. So that's how we usually do Tier 0s. We open a channel between our team and the team that's executing the Tier 0. We did it the same way with both projects, and I think this turned out to be a good practice. So every project that is onboarded gets a single channel guest in our Slack, and we can then communicate with the project lead or the lead that is assigned to that dedicated Tier 0 project. Yes, there was some miscommunication from our side, but we were mostly traveling previous week. So thanks for giving us the update, Mark. I really appreciate it. And yeah, does anybody have any questions for Mark or any other questions that pop up in between?
Silence is good, I guess.
You never know.
Yeah, Jeronik, that's what I'm doing. That's just what I said. I'm working on the browser extension like MetaMask or a Badger from Bitcoin Cash. Oh, for the recording, you don't see the chat. Jeronik asked, is someone still working on the browser extension like MetaMask? So yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment.
It's part of the functionality and requirements for ARK-Tipper. And I think if you click on the ARK-Tipper project, you can actually see the milestones and the tasks on the website. Should be all updated. But yeah, MetaMask is definitely on the roadmap and should be done.
I have one question for Mark. So I guess it's time to kind of reveal this hobby project that I'm working on. I've been researching how to do this. So the idea basically is to have a sort of ARK delegate name-based naming service. So it would be like a browser plugin that you can install, and it would, based on the information that you've published to the blockchain, it will download some files from the IPFS and render them for you on the browser as if you're, for example, using a domain name. Yeah. So I was wondering if you would be open to having this functionality in MetaMask. So maybe instead of creating like a plugin that nobody uses, if you have like in your plugin, if you could include that, maybe it's more helpful.
Yeah, I'm always open for good ideas and for cooperations. So let's communicate how and where and what to integrate. And I think it's good that there would be only one extension to be loaded for all of ARK.
Yeah, right? I think that's a good idea because people really don't want to have multiple extensions.
Yeah. So absolutely.
Okay, let's discuss this later then. Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have any, besides an idea, do you have anything like specification or AIPs or something we could check? It sounds really good. It could add value to the MetaMask plugin.
Would that be able to have your modular plugin architecture in a sense too? Not sure how you do that if you'd have like sub plugins, since it's a plugin itself to your browser. But that way, it would be easier to add features or expand it if people wanted to do
yeah, Mike, it's going to be open source, so everybody can extend on it. I think that's the best way to go with something like this. So I'm gonna put the Chrome extension into a separate GitHub and fully open source it once it's ready to be seen.
Okay, right. As well as being open source, that it's modular, that you can add plugins to it in a sense or features without having to like rewrite the code. You know how we're doing with the wallet and the core as well. The same sort of plugin. Modular architecture.
Yeah, that's basically the way I'm working as well. So I think that should work out fine.
Very good. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
I have a question for you, Mark.
Yeah.
So for the browser extension, will you be extending the AIP13 and AIP26 that ARK already has for URL parameters, or will you be making your own standard for URLs? For example, you have ARK colon and then send transaction. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I will try to stay adhering to as many standards as I can without having to invent my own things. So the standards that are there, I think they will be working perfectly fine for an extension. So let's not try to invent the wheel again and use what we have and create as much standard across the ecosystem as we can.
Nice. So, for example, if I have a button that's ARK Wallet compatible, it would be compatible with your browser extension as well.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Okay, nice. And are you looking into wallet plugins as well?
For the browser, I will start with first with the basic system and make it as open as possible to be extended later on. But yeah, I think what we can integrate, right? But
yeah, I'm talking about more like the ARK Wallet plugins. So, for example, an ARK Tipper plugin for the ARK Wallet itself.
That is in the exploratory stage. So that's gonna be developed later on. Right?
Oh, awesome, nice.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, welcome. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, go ahead. No, also you can also type in chat if you don't have voice capabilities, so we can just answer it in the same way we answered to Jaronik. Yeah. Okay. Well, looks like this is it for this time. 3, 2, 1. No questions. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for opening a discussion. So I guess this is the most important part, besides the slides and sharing the updates, is sharing each other's opinion and who is building upon, so we can get feedback, assess it, tear it apart if it's not okay, and drive it in the right direction. So yeah, looking forward to our next roundtable. So in the meanwhile, think about what they want to discuss. So we'll try to keep the similar schedule and maybe do more of the discussion part based on the functionalities of the new projects. I would like to thank you all again for being here, for participating, for being active in the community, active in the projects, and yeah, thank you guys. See you next time.